Now listen, Tony, you book your fucking ideas up, lad, because there's a million kids out there who would die for this fucking opportunity that you've been given.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, people all over the world. Welcome to the Regular Menthol Podcast, where we discuss Kino movies. Yes, my name is Tate. My co-host here is Chris.
Hi, folks.
We give our thoughts on the movie, and we discuss specific scenes that we like, followed up with our very own Kino rating. Now, today, that's going to be very exciting because there's basically one scene. We're discussing the 2021 movie Boiling Point, starring Stephen Graham and Vinette Robinson. King, how you feeling today?
Well, back to the usual revolving door of something has broken and I have to fix it in my house. This one being the ice maker. So, yeah, dude, it's like there's like I don't even know how to explain this, but long story short, there's like a water line that goes to your refrigerator and then one to your ice maker. Well, I look behind and it's not making ice, right? So I look behind the fridge on the floor. It's completely wet. So that's awesome. So I pull out the fridge, determine that it's basically this valve that runs into your freezer. So I have to take the valve out, take the ice maker apart, and determine by the rubber on the valve that it's a little bit separated. So they don't make these parts because it's an older fridge. They're like hundreds of dollars. You may as well just buy a new fridge. So I'm like, you know what? I got some epoxy downstairs. Let me just apply that, finish it with some super glue to cover it up and bind it. Yeah, but there was no videos on it because it's like it's a very specific fridge. Yeah. So, kind of determined that was the case, deduced it, and
deduced.
And that was it. So I got to leave it off for 24 hours for the epoxy to dry, and we will see if tomorrow I'm fruitful in my work or if I'm cooked, as kids would say.
My question is, are you me? I think there's water in my fridge right now. It's probably the same thing going on where there's just water building up in the back of the fridge and it keeps freezing.
Yeah. Well,
I'm like, what's this?
If it's not getting circulation, like enough airflow, they say that, but I mean, I don't believe that. But long story short, if you're too jam packed, it could result in some freezing in areas. But this was frozen right up to the valve that comes out and distributes the water into the reservoir for the ice maker. But it very possibly could be that. So, YouTube it up. You'll find it.
Excuse me, landlord. Can I have a whole new refrigerator, please? Thank you.
Right. Anyhow, what's going on with you?
Not much. Basically just preparing for the apocalypse. I'm going full Canadian prepper on you. AI is going to take over in 6 months. 6 months, I'd say. Yeah.
2 more weeks.
In fact, you can time the market. You might as well just short the market on all law firms coming up. Just time it with Anthropic's announcements of what new stuff that they're working on. And the next thing that they're working on is law.
This is not financial advice.
No, this is financial advice, people. This is it's all going away. Tech. I work for tech. It's all going away.
It's all going away now.
That's all going away.
Can't speak to it, but I mean, all I ever hear is 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks.
2 more weeks to stop the spread, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if AI is going to cook us. Anyhow, let's get down to this movie. Tell me about this thing, Boiling Point.
I'll tell you, I'm very excited to talk about this movie. Boiling Point is about a chef has to deal with the most diabolical level of stress in order to serve food to the people. He has to deal with bureaucracy, idiot Nepo baby owners, bickering workers, laziness, French accents, a hostile takeover from a friend, and anaphylactic shock, all while being drunk on vodka and doing coke.
It's a very nice summary. Very nice summary. I mean, let's just get right into this thing. Here's some backstory on this puppy. So this was shot in March of 2020, peak COVID, okay? Peak COVID. They filmed this in an hour and a half, right? In one take. So you said scene. This is a true one scene movie, not like, what's that war movie? 18 or?
Yeah. World War I movie.
Yeah. I mean, it was shot in one take, but there was I think one scene in there where they had to split it something happened. Right. But still, I mean, there's a lot more going on in that movie than this movie, but still, very impressive.
They cheated.
Nonetheless.
They done cheated.
They done great. Apparently, they had to deal with a restaurant in London, and they were allowed to film certain days, okay? And, certain days of the week for as long as it took. Then right before the first day of filming, COVID hits. Okay? So what do we do about this?
2 more weeks?
But apparently COVID was already like a thing, but this was like right when the government ordered to shut down.
Yeah.
So long story short, the restaurant was basically like, yeah, dude, you got 2 days to film this thing. 1 take in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. And on the 3rd try, day 2, they nail it on the 3rd attempt. Let's take a minute to discuss how completely insane that is.
Makes you wonder how far into the movie they got on the first 2 tries.
Yeah. You got who messed it up?
Right.
Who's the asshole that screwed up? Yeah, but dude, when you think about that though, I mean, you just watch this thing, right? So it's fresh in your mind. Just think about all the different, because this is the beautiful thing about this movie is like, it's showing you behind the scenes of an active kitchen. Now, I know anyone out there listening who's worked in a kitchen can attest to this. It's madness, whether it's a small scale, right, all the way up to a large restaurant like this that's trying to do fine dining. It's a madhouse. Yeah. So doing it on a larger scale like this, complete insanity. And you see all just the crazy range of emotions. But again, dude, you're doing this in 1 take. So how many characters do you have? Like, I don't know, 100?
Oh, there's a lot. Yeah. Because everyone's really a character when it's 1 take.
Yes, dude. Even the 8 chicks sitting at a table down to, the 3 guys who are the influencers. It's like, damn, dude. Like, you had to be on your shit and that's the whole thing, man. It's like the pressure of it all. It's like, when your time comes, like, you got to nail it. I'm sure they did a bunch of walkthroughs. I'm sure of it. But the point being is you had to be on your shit and you can't drop a line or it's screwed. But even more to the point is like the pressure of, now we know we have 4 takes because they just called this pandemic. And now it's like, damn, dude, when your time comes, you better be on. It's just, I think it's so crazy. So crazy.
I would never be able to do this.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know this. I would never be able to do this because at some point I would get in my own head and overthink things. There's 100%. This is what happens. And it might be a focus issue with me.
Fair enough.
But I really think that while watching this movie, I go through this whole range of emotions, but I'm always like, hey, what would I do in this situation? And I look at this and I'm like, this is such a high pressure situation.
Yeah, dude. Well, it just goes to show. I mean, we'll talk about it a lot, but Stephen Graham, I mean, he's on our Mount Rushmore of great actors, or at least underrated. Mm-hmm. And I mean, this guy just absolutely cooks. But to be fair, they made this, it was such a success, this show, that they made it into a 4-part series, which I've watched twice. And what it does is it picks up from where this left off. And it kind of fleshes out the characters, so you kind of see what happens after the fact here. But if you get a chance to check that out, it stars that dude who plays Trevor in Grand Theft Auto 5, Stephen Ogg, that crazy dude. He stars in it. He's actually pretty good in it. But I just thought it was wild that this doesn't get more exposure. And it's like, I know that it's a British show, but naturally British shows are never going to be as popular in the United States unless they get some kind of, created hype around it. But I don't know, man. This one's a true gem for me. So you just wish this would have got more exposure, because everyone I talk to is, I never heard of that. I never heard of that. And speaking of, just to point out, that whole British world is alien to me. I love it. Okay. So my brother and I don't know if I've ever talked to you about this, like my love for British shows, but we watched the OG Office. And when the American version came out, I was like, dude, did you watch The Office? And like, I didn't want to be that guy. I'm like, dude, I'll watch the British one, man. But I watched, I tried, well, everyone, it's like this or that. And,
poser.
Yeah, right. I'm like, I don't know, man. I watched a couple episodes of the American one. I'm like, it's funny, sure, but it's just not British humor funny, which I think British humor is the funniest, driest shit ever. Like, I could just watch British stuff it's such a whole different world over there, to me, at least. So, yeah, long story short, love it.
That's literally my dad. This is his life now. He goes on his computer and does photography work, and then that's like 20% of the day, and 80% of the day is sitting on his chair and watching British television. That's insane, but it's true.
That's why your dad rolls. That's why your dad rolls. No, it's a whole different. It's a whole different thing, and I think the British. It's so alien to us, and I go watch. I'm like, okay, this is so dry that it's hilarious. Like such characters. Anyway,
to your point that it doesn't get as much exposure, you ever just have this experience when you're watching a movie and it's like, this movie is the best movie of all time?
Yes.
Now, I'm not saying that this is actually the best movie of all time, right? That's a whole other kind of like argument that you'd have to take an hour and discuss and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I had that thought of like, I'm watching absolute greatness right now.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And you're referencing this.
Exactly. Like it's fascinating. I'm really into action. You know, I guess you can tell as some of the movies, I'm talking about guns all the time. But when you think of the absolute just spectacle that is this simple restaurant movie.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I had to stop and wonder, like, is this the greatest movie of all time?
Whoa. Holy smokes. Yeah.
I don't know if it is or not, but I stopped when I'm watching it halfway through and I had that thought. Do you have that thought when you're watching a movie ever?
Yes. It was the movie that I've referenced before, which we've covered, is The Assassination of Jesse James. And that's the movie that got me into acting. And that was the one where I was like, okay, I have to buy this. I referenced it when we did the episode, but I'm like, okay, I have to buy this tonight and I have to go rent it because this was back in probably 2009, 10. So there's still video rental spots, right? So I ordered it offline and then go rent it to watch it. I think I watched it on demand with some chick, but dude, I was just like, this movie is...
Did she get it?
No. This movie is it right here. Okay. It's just like,
you're like,
there's so many facets to it. There's so many facets to it. I'm like, wow, man, this is perfect. This is the perfect movie. So that's why I still rank it as best movie of all time. But yeah,
that's the kind of thing that I have when I'm watching this.
Yes. This for me, this is easy top, maybe top 20, definitely top 50, possibly top 20. But yeah, it's amazing. You remember the first time watching this, do you?
Yeah. In fact, it wasn't that long ago. It was probably a couple of years ago. And the first time I watched this was because you told me about it.
Yeah.
You're like, watch this movie, Boiling Point. It's got Stephen Graham in it. And it's one giant take.
Dude, it's
I'm like,
so gnarly.
If you want to get me to watch something, just say those parts of that equation. Stephen Graham, one take, brother. Like,
yeah, I think it's funny because I remember the trailer for this. And I remember being like, this is right up my alley because the only shows that I watch at home, my wife and I, are cooking shows. I mean, we watch some reality TV and stuff, but, and we'll watch some of like the popular, oh, you got to watch the show. Sure, we'll check it out. But aside from that, it's like cooking competitions and just anything cooking, right? Documentaries, all that shit. I just find fascinating. Like in another life, like a sous chef at some restaurant.
I could see that.
But they just don't make enough money because it's like a grind. It's like there's no money to be made there, which kind of sucks because it's like such a way to portray art, if you will. But yeah, I was super hyped for it and it must have been released and I just never paid attention. And then I saw something, I don't know where I saw it online, like a clip of it. I'm like, holy shit, dude, this movie's been out for like, I don't even know if at that point it was maybe 6 months to a year. Like, I got to watch this. So I watched it and then immediately watched it again after. I'm like, there's no way that this was done in one take. So I had to rewatch it to make sure that I'm not going crazy because it was that crazy.
Yeah.
So literally me character in this movie. Who do you got?
I'm Jake, the guy that just is laughing the whole time and lazy, shows up late to work.
Oh, you the dishwasher dude?
And then just, it lights up a smoke when he goes out to the bins. Like, that's me because I'm just like, this is one of the shocking things of watching this movie. You're like, these people are so stressed. This environment is very stressful. Mm-hmm. Why are they accepting this level of stress?
Well,
in the first place.
So you're him where you just don't give a shit. Just give what to say.
That's kind of my reaction to high levels of stress. I'm just like, whatever, dude. Like, fire me. Sure.
Well, the stress is, it's shown right and again, dude, we'll cover why this is such a well-written movie, but the stress is, trying to get a Michelin star in the chef world and the restaurant world, that's like the whole thing is getting a Michelin star and just good reviews. So they went from a 5 to a 3. So they fleshed that out right away with this guy coming in, the food inspector. So the stress is, dude, the restaurant could go under. And underneath him are all these other chefs trying to work their way up to a higher position. Like he tells the dude, Tony, he's one of the prep chefs. He's like, you're lucky to be here. People would kill to be in the position that you're in, being able to be at this restaurant. So that's the high stress right there. And he's got the bulk of it because he's the head chef, executive chef.
Yeah, but you know what? You said it earlier, though. They don't make a lot of money.
Right.
So you're like, hey, dude, even a considerable amount of money, I'm like, okay, this is a little bit too much. I mean, you're raising your voice to me, dog. Like, I have to laugh this. I have to laugh this off here. But if you're also not making a lot of money, there's no question I'd be the laughing guy. Just totally jester maxing, just in the corner, jester gooning.
I feel like the one that spoke to me the most was Freeman. So he's like one of the sous chefs. He's always in the corner, kind of by Carly, and he's played by Ray Pathaki. And man, dude, this is obviously Stephen Graham in this, but I love this guy in this role. Absolutely kills it. He's shaking his head the entire movie because Andy just keeps fucking up, and it's like he knows it's him the entire time, and he doesn't let it out to the very end. And I feel like I can relate to this. And he just loses his shit at the end. I'm like, this was me at the last job. Just watching everyone, just dealing with everyone's screw ups all day. And I'm like, I just got to keep it in, bro. I can't pop off because I'll get fired.
On the brink of popping off.
Right there.
Yeah.
It's so relatable. But then he does at the end, bro. And it's absolutely epic, but we'll get into that. So some fun facts about this. There were 38 mics used for the characters. Stephen Graham had 2. One was on his shirt and a second was on his apron, which he takes on and off throughout the movie. And actually, there's a pretty cool picture that you can look up online where they're all kind of spread out on this table. And it just shows like all the wireless mics. Hats off to sound guys, Rob Entwistle and Kif McManus. Shout out there. I mean, just that in itself is such a job, and all the mixing they probably had to do for that was absolutely
the sound. Yeah.
Genius.
I mean, we've been on sets and it's just this guy, you know, you have the
boom pole guy,
the boom mic guy, and
generally that's it.
The photography guy doing all the lighting.
Yeah.
And you're like, my God, dude, the amount of coordination that must have gone into this.
Well, and that's
unbelievable.
That's really what this movie is, coordination. So it's like, you imagine all the time that they spent prepping, right? And where are they doing that at? Because they have to be on location of this restaurant. So you imagine maybe they're closed on Mondays, right? So you can do a couple dry runs, right, leading up to this. But dude, it's almost like when you think about it, it's like a dance. They're doing a dance, a choreographed dance. All the actors, all the crew throughout this whole thing, everyone has to know where they're supposed to be for an hour and a half. Kind of wild. Like someone had to coordinate that from Jump Street. There's someone who has to coordinate all of this happening, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about one take, it's bad enough that the actors have to basically memorize everything that they have to do.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a whole coordination of these camera guys and sound guys too.
Dude.
It's when you really think about the scope of this thing, that's when you start thinking like, damn, this might be the best movie of all time.
And you can get away with, like, so they got 2 sound guys here. I'd argue there's a few lighting guys, obviously cinematographer, director. So there's probably like on set here, maybe 10, 15 gals. But yeah, they all need to know where they're supposed to be. And dude, if one person steps in front of camera, I'd imagine that
it's a wrap.
Stephen Graham's going to go off like Christian Bale in Terminator, probably. Start freaking out.
What are you doing?
You idiot. Stephen Graham and Hannah Walters are married in real life. I never knew this, but the baking mommy, the blonde hair, they're married in real life. Isn't that wild?
Baking mommy.
Which, if you watch the show, it really kind of fleshes their relationship because he goes to rehab and she's a sponsor. It's actually, check the show out, man. The show's really good. Like I said, it kind of gives more detail. It's 4 episodes, so it's like basically, 2 or 3 of these? But it really gets into it and dives deep into a lot with Carly, too, and what she's dealing with. Because that's the whole thing is, these people are all dealing with shit outside of this restaurant. So you see this popping off. Like the one girl was at an audition. Like, how did the audition go? It actually goes to her audition and shows it, which is pretty wild. So yeah, check this. If you haven't had a chance, folks, check the show out. It's very good.
Did you happen to look up Hannah Walters on Google?
Nah.
Dude, it's kind of unbelievable. And I hate to say this because we're singing the praises of Stephen Graham this whole time, but she just mogs him every.
Yeah, well, I obviously that, but it's hey,
frame mogging, height mogging. Oh my God,
Stephen Graham's our guy. You bite your tongue. But the one thing that I was going to say is, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but this is an expansion of a 2019 short film by the same name, which I didn't even know until I was looking this shit up. And it stars Stephen Graham. It's like the same director. Pretty wild. And there was a 22-minute short version of this, which they expanded into the full movie, which I thought was pretty wild. So I still got to check that out. And then I did some more research. It was actually 8 tries they would be given to do this, then chopped it down to 4 because I guess Stephen Graham, the director, they all stepped in like, okay, we're not going to get screwed over on this thing. Because again, they were doing this since 2019 with a short. So it's like, we got to trim this down. We got 4 tries to do this thing. So it's pretty wild.
Dude, I mean, it's just unbelievable how crazy COVID was. And I guess people kind of forget. Like, you had everyone freaking out at each other. Tom Cruise is popping off. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember that flip out. Do you remember
vaguely
Christian Bale earlier?
Vaguely.
Tom Cruise had his own flip out where it was basically, yo, stop dicking around and wear masks because there are millions of dollars on the line here.
So man dedicated to the craft. He's dedicated to the craft.
It's like, dude, we can't do 8 tries because, when you go past 4, this arbitrary number of 4, somehow the danger levels escalate.
Well,
you know what I mean?
You know what it probably was? It was probably they were given like a Monday and Tuesday when they're not busy or the restaurant's closed. So you have morning, afternoon, and then they had the following week, I would imagine. So they basically were like, screw you, you can't shoot the second week. So you got this week alone to do it, 4 tries. I would imagine that was the case. Anyhow,
I just want to point out.
Let's get into some of these kino scenes.
The movie starts with Stephen Graham walking down the street, and this is the first time in a while that I've seen a movie where someone has my exact model of phone. I don't know if you caught that at all.
No.
So for the audience, I have an iPhone 6S.
Dude.
I got it in 2016. Okay. It's still going strong. I replaced the battery. I replaced the charging port. It works fine, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to try and job me out. I can't open a couple apps anymore because I need the new one, the new operating system, and it won't. I just refuse to
That's
download
wild,
it. Anywho,
that is crazy.
This movie came out in 2021. I want to believe this is a personal choice by Stephen Graham to have this phone in the movie because it's his actual phone. I want to believe he's just like me.
He's literally you. Is it really the exact success for sure?
I can't tell, but it's got to be around the same generation because if you look at the camera on the back, it's that little tiny lens.
Yeah.
And that's the one I have.
Like, you still have a button, don't you?
You damn right I do. Damn right I got a button, dog.
Well, I mentioned the food inspector earlier, and it's like, this immediately stands out to me. He's going around and he's, just kind of shitting on them. And it's kind of the only funny part of this whole movie, at least to me. I'm sure British people are like not thinking twice about this, but he's got this little hat on. Did you notice his getup, the food inspector?
Yeah, with the brim. It's like a little white.
What is that?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. And it's a little like top hat, but it's
a little top
fabric of like a safety inspector kind of lab coat fabric.
And he has a literal lab coat on. And it just got me thinking, like, between that, you have the police uniforms. They have the most charactered shit that they have these government workers have to wear. It's like, what in God's name am I looking like? How could you take that dude serious if he rolls in and just starts like shitting on your restaurant?
Does that have something to do with the fact that police officers in Britain have
That's what I'm saying.
It's called those. So is it something, a callback to tradition?
Yes, that's 100% what it is.
It's like, guys, come on.
That's what they've been doing for decades, and they just don't evolve because it's like, okay, it's tradition. You have to.
Yeah.
Whereas in America, like, okay, that's old. Let's get it out of here. Let's do something new.
Our tradition is to just get tactical.
But so I'm probably going to just point this out 100 times, and Andy and just Stephen Graham, of course, just being completely versatile, which is, on full display here. But he just sits there with this blank stare on his face the entire time that the inspector's talking to him, to the point where the guy's like, all right, can you pay attention? Can you pay attention? Then he calls them all together, and you see this slow build up because he's like coping with this bad score that they got. And he's at first he's blaming the inspector, and it's kind of just like, oh, we're not, we should have a 3. We should have a 3, kind of just coping with it. Then he just starts lashing out at people specifically who got them dinged. And it's like, this dude's acting is so layered. Like when people say like this, no pun intended with, it's a chef movie, but there's layers to a dish. This guy is layered, bro. His acting is just so, you see it multiple times. We'll touch on it when we get there, but it's like, this guy can just turn it off and turn it on. And it's just like, you can see the evolution of emotions going through this dude, which is kind of wild.
Yeah. If he goes from flipping out to saying sorry, but not even,
he does that whole movie.
He just wants to kind of brush his sorry part under the rug real quick.
Sorry.
And I'm like, so good, dude. So good. He flips out, and it's like not even those dudes' fault.
Yeah.
And then he goes, sorry, but he doesn't want to really say sorry. It's like, oh, dude, that's so...
Well, because he knows he's pissed off, and he knows that it circles all the way back. You see at the end, it's like his fault. All these things are his fault, right? He didn't do the timesheets or whatever the hell the inspector wanted. He didn't label the super expensive fish. He told the girl to use the walnut oil sauce. Like all these
He's
things...
not ordering the food. All
these things revert back to him. So it's just like, he realizes at that point, and that's when he starts freaking out. He's like, shit, it was me. Sorry. And he just keeps saying sorry. But again, he's the head chef, so he's getting pulled in 100 different directions. And everyone just keeps, pestering him. Not pestering him, but they're just talking to him like, chef, you need to do this. Chef, I need you to do that. But I can't stress enough, like, how difficult what he's doing here in 90 minutes is. Like, for example, quick story. The first full-length movie I ever did, I was the lead on it. It was only 45 minutes. So you're talking half of this. Dude, I would spend every morning, I would go to like Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks, get a coffee before work, read over my script. I had it memorized start to finish. Now you're talking 45 minutes. It was probably like 40-ish pages or so, maybe 30-some pages. But I had even other people's lines memorized, right? But I knew that I had the safety net and back then, dude, I'm not anymore because I'm old, but back then, dude, I could just like photographic memory. I could just rattle things off the top of my head. Right. But I knew I had a safety net. So it's like, okay, I'm only going to be doing, one line here potentially. Right. And then we're going to cut, we're going to take it from a different angle. This dude's doing this shit with an insane range of emotions, and then having to kind of choreograph where he needs to be. We talked about, all the people that, people don't want to overlap and bump into each other and stuff. But dude, there's people where they're on set coordinating like, hey, you need to be over here. Let's go over here. Like it's again, dude, it's like a freaking dance, which is kind of wild. So hats off is what I'm saying. It's like the fact that you don't have that safety net there and you have this much dialogue, but then crazy range of emotions. Absolutely Stephen Graham acting. That's all I can say. He's on the Mount Rushmore. That is why. And then you move forward to, probably going to mention this, 100 times, but he goes then he goes to the back end. Okay, I'll cut to this part. He goes to the back end where he's looking at what's her name? I can't remember her name of the baking chick in the movie, what her character name, but it's her and this young kid who's kind of like her, understudy. And they're checking out the pie. He's like, oh, it's too tart. So then the kid kind of gets defeated, right? And it obviously exposes that he's cutting himself. Now, side note, she does a fantastic job of like how believable this is, right? Because she's under the tutelage of her husband, Stephen Graham. But like he goes from this range of emotions from that and just be like, no, it needs to be fixed, right? To then this pregnant dishwasher is like popping off about who shows up late for work, the dishwasher dude.
Yeah.
And then he has to deal with that, right? To going back and trying the filling for the pie And then he has like this whole, because he wants to boost the kid's confidence up. So he's like, oh, let me go back in for another one. Let me go back in for another one.
Right.
To then go back to where the dude who was late for work, he's like, I'm going to take the bins out. He's like, take the fucking bins out and make it snappy, mate. And just pops off on it. Just that little span of maybe a minute on screen, 4 different plateaus of emotions. I'm just like, bro, this is peak right here.
Yeah, you have to, it's almost you're watching a number of different characters.
Right.
And it's like he's got to play a different character to kind of interact with each kind of situation to quell things over correctly. And even the way he says to the guy at first, where he takes a little taste of it, and he's like, you're expecting him to kind of be like, oh, that's good. And then he's just like, little tart.
Too tot.
Yeah. And it's like the way he says it too is so good. And, you know, I fixate on people's facial expressions and everything. And just there's the one character played by Stephen Graham is multiple characters.
Yeah.
Because he has to address all these different people and how they're kind of interacting with them. It's crazy.
Yeah. And his relationship with these people, you know what I mean? So like he's showing here, and this is a perfect example. He knows that this kid has been there for a week, right? And seemingly knows that he doesn't have a lot of confidence. So he's not going to just lash out on him and pop off on him. Whereas the front of the house, Tony, has obviously been there for a while. He can't shuck an oyster. And he's like, well, it's not my station. He's like, he knows he can give him a little more shit. So he's dealing with that knowledge of, okay, I can really like pop off on this dude and it's okay.
I can give this guy a little bit more heat. He can take a little bit more heat.
Yeah.
Whereas this other guy, I'm kind of going to work on him a different way. I'm going to build him up a little bit.
And it is wild too, because I mean, this is anyone who out there who's worked at a restaurant. I mean, I personally haven't. I've worked at like a pizza shop, but dude, have you ever worked at a restaurant? I didn't ask that, bro.
Yeah.
This is real shit. This happens at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Which is kind of wild. And you have these, because at the pizza shop, bro, you can talk to our buddy Joe about this, but it's like, we had the most insane characters to where we just like give them crazy names and just, you know, create wild scenarios. But here it's the same thing. You have all these real world people who have real world problems, right? And then on top of that here, you're like, we didn't have to deal with customers like that, but you're having to interact with these customers, take their orders, deal with issues. So then you have that on top of it. So it's just like a whole circus. Like, I know this movie's dramatizing it with the girl, you know, going to the hospital and then him passing out from being coked out. But it's like, this is the type of shit that happens on a regular. I mean, you've talked to enough friends that worked in restaurants to tell you crazy stories. I have too. Yeah. It's like, dude, the wildest shit happens at restaurants. I'll tell you a wild one for me was, and I don't know if you have anything that you've ever witnessed, but my wife and I were, you know, it was probably a couple of years ago. It was before my daughter was born, but we were out to eat at this place pretty close to where we lived. And we were like, okay, it had pretty good ratings or whatever. We go in, and just from the moment we went in and we're supposed to be seated, they messed up the reservation. So we had to wait. And then the one dude was like, I forget what happened with one of the waiters, but then I got something. I got like elk. It was elk in some kind of pasta. I'm like, dude, let me try that. So it comes out, and I just not vividly, but I vaguely remember something being wrong with it. And I said, yo, is this normal to you? And it was just something funky about it. As soon as I said that, there was like a little commotion in the table next to us. And this lady, probably in her 50s, just projectile vomits all over the ground, all over their table and ground. And it like something was like either wrong with her or she was drunk, one of the two. And bro, it was just the most insane thing because of all this shit that happened beforehand. And I looked over, I was like, are we literally being punked at this moment? Because it was just so insane.
What'd you do?
Well, we just kept a straight face and looked at each other like, we're not gonna make her feel embarrassed and like bring attention to it. So we just kind of just turned the other way and just pretended to keep talking. And dude, it was just, I just vividly remember this night. I'm like, this was the most insane dining experience I've ever had. Needless to say, we never went back there.
I was just going to say, I would be tempted to just straight up walk out.
We were probably close, but muscled it out, already ordered our food, already like into the meal. So it's like, okay, well, we can't just leave.
Oh, see, whatever was wrong with her meal is definitely it's already inside of you.
What did she have?
For a penny and for a pound, yeah.
Excuse me. What did she have? But no, it's the whole restaurant scene, man. I can't stress it enough. Like, that's why I have a lot. My point is, that's why I have a lot of respect for these people, because it's like they're dealing with a ton of shit, and it's just like, it's a circus. So
yeah, I mean, I've never worked in a restaurant. I don't get it. I don't understand the appeal. You're talking to someone who I eat the same thing every day,
right,
for the last 10 years or whatever. So I don't get the appeal. But like, I think to myself, is this some kind of psyop? Where this is some psyop where they're using kitchen shows to get people to work in restaurants. They're like, look, you can be famous. You can be some British chef that just yells at people all the time. You can have your very own TV show.
What's the angle there?
Good enough at being a chef.
What's the angle?
I don't know. They want to eat at restaurants and they need a worker force to be able to accomplish this.
It's for
like, I'll take the stress. It's going to pay off eventually. I'm going to get my own show one day. I'm going to be a successful chef. I'm going to be Bobby Flay too.
They need to. It's part of American commerce. They need people to go out and spend money on dining.
They need people to work in 5-star restaurants all over the place for little money. Meanwhile, diners just completely evaporate from the landscape. And you make the same money at a diner as you do as a 5-star restaurant. But
that's the truth, though. That's the truth of it, man. People, and again, dude, it's not to rehash it, but if you look at the wages of even these top chefs, they have to end up being restaurant owners because, dude, there's no real money. Like a sous chef, which is the second most important person, doesn't make that much money, even at these larger establishments. So it's like, that's why everyone's working their way up. That's why we were talking about earlier. That's why these people have so much stress on it. It's because like, you want to work your way up to be the executive chef because that's making like a good living. But anything
that's where you get the actual money.
Anything under that, I mean, it's just, average salary.
You're a jobber for 10 years. Think about that.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of wild.
Unless you have the financial backing. Okay. Hey, I'm going to get a loan and start a restaurant in Philadelphia.
Oh, boy.
What do you say, bud?
No comment.
The amount of time that people in this movie touch their nose really, really is messing with my OCD. And I have to believe. Do you remember the guy in the beginning of the movie?
I didn't notice it.
I think he said something about like, hey, he keeps touching his nose, the sous chef.
Oh, no. The inspector was like, he keeps touching his beard. Why does he keep touching his beard? Is he washing his hands? Yeah, that's what it was.
But I'm like, after he said that, I was like, everyone's touching their nose all the time. And I said to myself, is this on purpose? Is this part of the script as well? Is this part of the dance, if you will?
Well, I don't recall. I mean, was Stephen Graham touching his? I mean, he's the one that's doing coke.
Yeah, he does. As a matter of fact, but you don't find that out until the end of the movie.
Which you don't find out about the water bottle, too, which I thought was such a nice touch. It's like he's drinking this water bottle, and you're thinking through the whole movie, like, obviously, he's just staying hydrated. And then it's just straight vodka.
Aggressively drinking it, I might add. It's wild.
And, well, one thing I thought about was like, if he's just chugging this vodka straight throughout, a kitchen, even though this is a bigger kitchen, it's kind of an intimate place, right? People are bumping into each other. He's yelling in people's faces. Are they not going to be able to smell this on him?
I don't know. I mean, I would, but then you got to wonder because the sous chef does kind of pop off at him at the end of the movie and brings up, "You're always drunk."
Does he?
Smelling a liquor? Yeah, he does mention that. And that's when he flips out. That's when Stephen Graham flips out. But I think to myself, well, this is kind of like a cult.
It really is. Dude.
This is, yes, chef. Yes, chef.
That's the culture, man.
And this is cult-like behavior where the people doing the presentation table and everything, they're like looking for chef's approval. And maybe it's such a cult-like environment that they do smell it, but they're just ignoring it.
Dude,
because that's
very
sensei.
Very, very possible. Very possible. Yep. I agree. That's the world they live in.
And, listen, I just watch, maybe I have some kind of thing with restaurants where it just causes me anxiety because I just don't, there's something about it where I'm like, dude, I could just go in the kitchen and order it myself if I, am I putting you in a bad place? Am I being too much of a burden here? Like, I can just go back and talk to the chefs myself. Like, don't worry about it, dude. Like, not understanding that that's actually their job. You know, they're there to take my order and all this.
You don't go out enough that's actually alien to you.
It's yeah,
that's
exactly.
Crazy.
And the talk going on between the waiter and the table,
right?
This fake kind of small talk where
you don't mess with that.
You know, I don't like that stuff, and it induces all this anxiety in me where I'm like, yeah, how's your sex life?
For real, that's a thing.
What's your net worth? Right. But I watch this scene where this waitress goes and talks to the table and they're taking an order, and I just start feeling major anxiety.
Really?
Because I know that the reason why that this scene is in the movie is because it's very possible that something insane is going to happen,
right,
where these people are going to be pricks, or there's going to be some animosity, and I can feel it coming. And I'm just feeling anxious, right?
Are you talking about the scene where the bald guy is giving the girl shit about the wine?
Yeah, but even before that, where the first waitress goes out, it just the anticipation of knowing that something weird's about to happen.
Fair enough.
Is actually and it's this specific environment of this table waiting for the waitress and her getting there, and like, something weird conversation is going to take place. Oh shit.
And it does.
And it just makes me flash back to my restaurant experiences. And I'm just like, yeah, I'll have this.
Nah, man, that's the best part of restaurants. It's like, you got the waiter or waitress, and it's like, you get some good conversation. We're all about that.
I'm going to disagree with you. I think that's the worst.
That's why I go out like once, twice a week for dinner, and you never do, probably?
Literally never, yeah.
When was the last time you ate out?
The last time I ate out was on my birthday at the end of December, and it was
Bennigan's?
My parents and my two. It was actually, it was a steakhouse in Ambler. It's pretty nice, but it's kind of like the same environment as this place is in this movie, you know?
Fair enough. We cut to your boy, Jason Fleming, who plays, I don't know if he's like his rival / old partner, but just this interaction actually kind of rules. And this is homie from Snatch, if you remember.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This guy rules and everything. He's in a couple other movies, Lock, Stock, and Barrel, Case of Benjamin Button. I love this guy. So anyway.
100%. Great actor. He has a very unique face.
Yes.
Very.
We'll talk about facials. Yes.
100%. This is a guy that gets it. Don't know if his rival exactly. They're very there's a lot of animosity between these two guys.
Well, yeah, it's funny because you see both.
Like, what's happening here?
Yeah, you see where he's kind of bragging about what he's doing, and he's shitting all over Andy. He's like, yeah, well, I'm on TV. No, love. 7 million people watch it. So it must be doing something, right? But then
you're like,
cuts to, what? Then he's like, bro, you owe me $200,000. I'm going under. It's like, wait, what? It's like this whole 180 because that chick goes to the bathroom, and like the truth comes out. And then obviously what happens with the ambulance, but it's completely insane. It's like, the funny thing was Andy sits down at the table and he's just like picking the menu apart. He's like, oh, the small dish. It's like, no, I took it with me when I left you. So it's like, can you really say that any dish is a specific chef's dish? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
These are artists. It's a good question. I believe that these people think that they're artists, and maybe they are.
To be fair. Yeah, I think they are.
I'm a guy that eats.
But I'm biased. I watch cooking shows all day.
Right. Shit. It's like this world of this restaurants where there's public face. You have to be kind to their customers. It's a 5-star restaurant. They're customers. But he's also kind of your friend who's being somewhat passive aggressive towards you.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, where do I cross the line here and just be a prick back to him? So he has to, he says stuff back to him that's like, that was actually mine.
Yeah.
And you're like, he's not really popping off, but you could tell that there's animosity.
There's
and
tension.
The idea of this restaurant world where you can't really pop off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, there's something fake and phony about the whole world.
Well, and it's a good point because they're in a restaurant and obviously they can't get into a screaming match because it's a super busy Friday night. Obviously she's like a big, I don't know what she does, like a food blogger or something. So it's like, you have to control yourself. And like, instead of popping off, you have to be passive aggressive, right? And just control yourself, which is kind of wild.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, man, you talk about fine dining. I can give you some, these being artists and whatnot, I can give you a couple of YouTube channels that I watch. And dude, this guy just goes to all these, I'm sure there's like a million of those, but he's got like 500,000 followers, but he just goes to restaurants, Michelin star restaurants all throughout Europe and America and stuff. Dude, some of the shit they do with this food, I mean, it's kind of incredible. Like the amount of work they have to do. And people can say that's like, it's trying to be an artist or whatever, but I think it's phenomenal. The flavors they throw out and the way they prep it days in advance and stuff. It's kind of wild.
Some people, listen, some people like me don't necessarily get art. And I'm like, why is this guy? It's the idea of this guy being like overly pretentious, though.
Right. And that's the whole side of it. Everyone's like, oh, it's pretentious, right? So that's the understood.
Stephen Graham's kind of just, I'm doing this to make money, I guess. And this guy's like, but if you had, it's 2% off. If you add this little bit of pinch of salt, like it's better.
Right.
Like, what, dude? Come on. I love how they kind of contrast this whole stressful world by they have this guy, Jake, casually walking to the bins.
That's your boy.
And lighting a cig on the way. And then he goes into a car that's waiting out there and I don't know, talks to some girl and he's buying drugs from her, I guess. I don't exactly know what's going on, but it's all very casual. He's very nonchalant about everything. And it makes you take a position on this stress levels of this environment.
Mm-hmm.
You watch this super stressful situation, you see different reactions from people throughout this movie. You got, some people breaking down and crying. You have other people crashing out, popping off on each other. And then you got Jake here who just laughs it off.
It's your boy.
What's the best response for stress in this situation that would lead to the most success? I'm not even sure. It's all on how you handle it. It's your own perspective and everything. But I do like that it has this tracking shot that follows him out.
Oh yeah, very cool shot. Very cool.
Because it's like this is a different perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's a good point.
You got everyone else flipping out. Now you take the perspective of this guy who is very calm.
Yeah, and it's a good point too. I mean, we haven't even mentioned about the camera work. I mean, there's not much you can do with this because it's in a finite space. But yeah, that's like the one cool shot where you're like, okay, this is really cool. But a side note, he in the show, that character, does a deep dive on him, and he takes care of his little sister, and he's working like 2 jobs. I don't know if it's the exact same character or if it's kind of blurring the lines of that guy, but check it out. There's the not to give any spoilers away, but the chick in the car with him, they're kind of accomplices, so to speak. You can take that for what it's worth, but it's kind of wild situation. Check it out. Boy. Check out the show. It's really, really good. But you cut back to what I consider is the line of the movie. Carly's going off on the blonde chick, who I guess is supposed to be the restaurant owner's daughter, is what I took out of that. Mm-hmm, and she's in charge of like front of the house. And she's like, if you spent half as much time learning how to run a restaurant instead of whoring your ass on social media like a budget Kardashian, we wouldn't be in the shit. I'm like, this is such a good line. And she just, again, dude, this chick who plays Carly, she really is the main character of the show. And it really follows her around because she has an executive chef role. I won't give too much away, but she's awesome, dude. She absolutely kills it. But I have to ask, how are you handling this if you're this blonde chick? How would you handle that situation? She pops off, says everyone hates you. What are you doing?
Good question. I mean, I think I would be like, all right. I'd probably just kind of laugh it off like Jake. Yeah. And then be like, all right, I got to like burn that person's house down.
That's what I'm saying. For me, it's like, I'm not running to the back and crying and calling my dad. I would just to combat her, to spite her, I'd be like, bitch, you're going to make my food or you're going to leave. I don't care if you like me. I'm not here for you to like me or you're fired. Point blank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why would you just run to the back, cry about it?
The only possible scenario being that they have had this conversation 100 times by now.
Yeah.
And
good point.
They all pop off on each other and all take it too far. My buddy, Caveman, his girlfriend, she works as a bartender in a very busy restaurant in Flowertown. And the owner's daughter is a hostess / manager. And I can see this scene playing out exactly how it does. Yeah, for sure, dude. Like, there's so much weird stuff going on in this restaurant between the people that work there.
Dude,
you're like,
restaurants are weird, bro. I'm telling you.
It just adds, for sure. It's like a very family oriented thing where everyone just starts bickering with each other.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, I saw that scene and I was like, this is real, man.
Probably the best way to describe it is bickering. Like that's it. Because even when I was at the pizza shop, it was the same thing. You're in this high stress environment, working as fast as you can, and people just being crazy and not doing literally and not doing things the way that you want them to do it. And then you just start to pop off. Like this is it. That's what this is.
Yeah.
This whole world, bro. It's high stress environment. But anyways, I mentioned it earlier, and Freeman finally goes off on Andy, and it's kind of epic. It's like you watch him throughout the entire movie. He's building up, right? He's the sous chef in the corner, kind of biting his tongue, shaking his head because he knows this is on Andy. And then Andy's popping off about who messed up the sauce. And he already knows he's going under. But then again, like I mentioned before, he realizes that it's his fault, right? And he was the one that told her to put the sauce out. And then Freeman just lays into him. He's like, it's your fucking fault, Andy. It's always your fucking fault. You don't do the ordering. You don't do this. You don't do that. And it's just like, again, dude, I can't stress this enough. This is at like the hour, 20-minute mark, pretty much the end of the movie, right? And this actor is like doing nothing the entire movie. Minimal lines. And then it's like, he's got to cook. This is his opportunity. And he just slams the scene. And I'm like, bravo, my friend. Very well done.
Yeah, because you're right. And the whole time, see, that's why this movie's wild is like the whole time he's doing his part. He's great. He's acting great and everything in the small lines that he has. And he knows in his head, though, that like an hour from now, I'm going to have to bring my A game.
Yes.
And it's going to be necessary that I do it correctly because we're going to be an hour into this long ass shoot.
Right.
And yeah, he kills it.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know what the reset time would be. I mean, the fact that they said, you got one take in the morning, there must have been some significant, setting up and prep ahead of time. But I couldn't imagine, dude, if you think about that, let's say this shoot, okay, in that world, you could shoot 12-hour days, right? And after 12-hour days is like magic hour, and that's when people get paid like crazy amount of money. But given the circumstances, you'd fully expect to be kind of, teetering into that if you can't get it. So if it's an hour and a half, one straight take, you would think you would probably get 4 shots at it. 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. I'd have to look into that. What the parameters were with that. But yeah, I mean, it's weird to me that they would only have 1 take in the morning, 1 take in the afternoon. But again, man, credit where credit's due. The fact they were able to nab this thing on the 3rd take. And it's not like the one thing I wanted to point out is you watch this and I'm watching it back. I'm like, who was the person that sacrificed their performance? You know what I mean? Because they were kind of nervous. They didn't want to screw it up. Who was that person? And I'm kind of watching it pretty close this round. And I'm like, I don't really see anyone who sacrificed a little bit of performance just to make sure they hit their lines. It's like, very well done, dude, true and through. Everyone who was, called, even like, again, the guys, the influencer guys, they were probably the worst lot, but the chicks at the table trying to get the shots of tequila, it's like even theirs were like just nailed all the lines, it was kind of fluid. And again, it's just, that's the word right there, is fluidity for this movie. Everything just kind of flows. Done very, very well. So
makes me wonder, okay, they were going to do 4 takes total. They were going to have 4 attempts, right? How many did they originally plan on doing? Meaning, what's the backup plan? If you have 4 takes 4 tries where you don't get it, what do you do then? You know what I mean? Originally, when they were planning this, were they just like, well, we're going to get it.
Yeah.
We have no backup plan.
So I was actually thinking about this because of this movie when I was doing this commercial, and this dude was having trouble hitting his lines, but it was actually a pretty big commercial where there was a lot of people moving in the background. So it was like like a whole thing. And I thought to myself, what if he wouldn't have hit his line in this? Because they tried it quite a few times. And again, other things that I've worked on where people can't get their lines down, they just have to adapt. So they'll just rewrite it on the fly and just change it to where there'll be a cut. Something like this, I don't know, maybe you splice it down into 4 different segments and then just shoot, 25-minute segments to it. I don't know. But yeah, they're pretty good with being on their feet and, rewriting shit. But yeah, man, can't speak enough on how great this is that they were able to accomplish this feat. So I think that pretty much wraps it up. What do you think? You got anything else?
Nothing other than just say that at the end, when Andy goes in his office, you find out that he's a full-blown alcoholic because he has this water bottle with him and he's pouring vodka in it, right? But you would never risk having a water bottle full of vodka unless you were a full-blown alcoholic who needed it.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Because alcoholics, they'll hide and be cagey about their alcohol, and they also need it though, or else they'll start going into like they'll start shaking and stuff. Tremens, whatever it's called. I think that's what's going on here. You're like, oh wow, he's actually a fully functional alcoholic through this whole thing. That's why he's not showing up and doing the reports and everything.
Yeah.
It's because he's slowly losing his mind from his alcoholism.
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever happened with his kid and his wife, I don't know what the story is there. You don't get the full story, but it's causing him to kind of relapse into alcoholism, which is at this point has probably been going on for a couple months now.
Minimum.
If he's drinking that much.
I think the best thing is when he finally, tells her, I want to go to rehab, I want to go to rehab. And he throws all the shit out. He starts like shooting snot rockets into the trash can to get the Coke out.
Yeah.
It's just such a nice touch. Kino ratings, I'll go first. You got 8.5, easy for me. Again, I mentioned it 100 times, but what they were able to do in 30 minutes, everyone's performance held up, just marvelous. Not to mention the amount of characters, call them multiple quote unquote scenes they each have. It's like kind of crazy. Stephen Graham is, as I mentioned before, on the Mount Rushmore of great actors of this podcast. Definitely doesn't disappoint here. And storyline, man. Yeah, this is a well-written movie. It's kind of basic, just a restaurant. You see these. I think the cool part about it is the simplicity of it too. It's like how many people that watch this can relate to this, even if it's not you working in a restaurant. Let's say it's like a retail job when you were younger. It's like, oh, I can relate to this. It's like stupid shit goes on. It's like it can be stressful. So again, just the storyline overall, I thought was super impressive. And like we said before, man, there's, a whole group of people, lighting guys, director, all these people on the other side of the camera who don't get their flowers, even down to like the PAs, right? They have to do a shit ton of work and have to be on point for this high stress 4-take challenge, right? Of 90 minutes, which I think is just, hats off to him. What did you give it?
Yeah. I mean, I gave this maybe a 9 on the Kino scale. Do you think people understand that Stephen Graham is dominant? Do you think?
I don't know that they do. I don't know that they do. And that's sad because, dude, I remember watching him. I was like, dude, I love him in Snatch. And I remember when I was really getting into acting, I would watch like some of my favorite actors, like all their like earlier stuff or lead roles. Yeah. And he didn't really have a ton of lead shit. I can't remember what the movie is. It's like this, I don't even know. I don't even know if it was like not like a rom-com or like some kind of stupid like thriller thing, but he had the lead and it wasn't like a Stephen Graham type character. And I still was like, this is really good. Like this dude just kills it. You know what I mean? So I would say probably not.
I mean, you have a movie here where he's just flexing his abilities to the maximum. Right. The point of that, is this the best acting of all time? Is this the best acting of all time?
Holy smokes. Perhaps. But that's my point, man. Is like everyone's like Daniel Day-Lewis. Sure, okay, great, yeah. We talked about last week with method acting, but yeah, when you have the safety net of being able to reset and deliver this line 100 different times over, okay, sure, you're gonna get it right until you are satisfied and the director's satisfied. You don't have that option here.
This is one of the most insane movies of all time if you understand the complexity of what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. If we're going by the ability to just, make you feel something, this movie makes me feel absolute anxiety and terror more than any horror movie ever. I'm dead serious about that.
It's powerful.
This is also just me in acting in restaurants, so I'm just kind of terrified, but this movie is panic inducing because it's such a stressful, something crazy is going to happen at every turn, and it's in a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about like some ghost or something. Like this is just a night at a restaurant, and it's just, to me, terrifying, which makes it awesome. It's a damn kitchen nugget, folks. It's just like this level of stress. I can't even believe that this is real. And also, I just want to point out that this movie has incredible replay value.
Oh, yeah.
It's, you watch the movie once, you understand the story, right? But the beautiful thing about this is that now, the second time, you pick up a couple things. One, you look at it, all the people in the background, and you're like, dude, is that part of the dance?
Mm-hmm.
There's some guy, I'm talking about the dance metaphorically, but there actually is a bartender dancing in the background in one of the shots, and you're like, well, that must have been coordinated, right?
Right.
Well, I don't know. And also, now that you know that this guy is just drinking alcohol the whole time, the movie, you have to look at it
completely changed.
100,
yeah, 100%. That's a good point.
Now it's like, dude, this guy's a functioning alcoholic, and he's doing all this stuff.
Yeah,
everything's starting to make more sense, but it makes everything just more crazy. Anywho, yeah, so I give it a 9.
Yeah, you talk about replayability, and it's like, this was one where I watched it, and then the next night I watched it again. Because I'm like, this is wild, man. So, yeah, I'm right there with you. So, folks, next time you go to a restaurant, have a little more appreciation for what's going on in the back. That's all I got to
say. Yeah. Next week, we will be discussing the movie Hackers, which to me is just absolute kino, but starring Johnny Lee Miller, Angelina Jolie, Matthew Lillard.
Your boy. That's your boy.
90s Chad.
Your boy. Till then.
Yeah, there you have it, folks.
Catch you on the next one.